my name is David Berry. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Law of the University of West Indies. Despite my foreign accent, I have been here a little while, 20 years plus. And my areas of teaching until I became Dean, when they put you way up in an office and don't allow you to teach very much, were Public International Law 1 and 2, Law of International Organizations, Caribbean Integration Law, and recently International Commercial Arbitration and International Mooting, which my colleague Westman James has taken over and I think done a little bit better with. So those were my areas of teaching. Currently I teach Caribbean Integration Law. I intend to teach International Commercial Arbitration. Those are both level 3 courses, so hopefully by the time you're at level 3, I'll be teaching those courses. All right, in today's talk, I'm going to, well, first welcome you, which I've done, but also describe the nature of the undergraduate programs and provide some tips for success and what to do if you have challenges. It may seem a bit much to talk about challenges on your very first day here or first substantive day here at Cave Hill, but I think it's good for you to be sort of thinking about how to deal with issues. Of course, Deputy Dean Westman James is the one who you will be assigned an academic advisor. But if the advisor is unhelpful, then you can go to Westman James. And if he is unhelpful, which he would never be, then you can come to me, the dean. And then a little bit about a university life called the right balance. So a little bit about Cave Hill. Cave Hill is the oldest faculty of law in the region. We were established in 1970. We predate legal qualification in the region. And so our first dean of law, Professor Keith Patchett, actually helped create something called the Council of Legal Education, which is a committee on which the leaders of the region, the attorneys general, chief justices, presidents of the bar sit, and they decide legal qualification matters for the region. So we predate the Council of Legal Education and helped establish it. We have a proven reputation in training students of law, and if you look around the faculty, the university honors alumni by putting their portraits up in the main entrance area of the university, or at least the old entrance building. And we have carefully taken some of those pictures and put them in the Faculty of Law. So those are our alumni. And you'll see attorneys general, you'll see chief justices, you'll see prime ministers, governor generals, and presidents of our societies. And you'll be joining this distinguished group of alumni. And no matter where life takes you, I think that your education here at the University of West Indies will serve you in very good stead. And that is illustrated by the success of these people, but the success of many other people who are not on our walls, but are leading great careers and great lives around the region. All right, so what do we provide? We provide a distinctive regional legal education. And this is something that the University of West Indies, when the Faculty of Law was first founded, we were the only Faculty of Law, and so we had to teach the laws of the entire region. Remember that when you're qualified, after your LLB, you go on to the law schools, and you're qualified for the region. So you can practice in Jamaica, Trinidad, Grenada, Guyana, wherever you want to in the region. You have to get called there, but you should have been trained in the laws of the region. And we feel this mandate is tremendously important, and we preserve it. So we teach comparative law, we teach a course called Comparative Law, but in all of our courses, we engage in comparative analysis. So if you're looking at, say, family law, you will look at Trinidadian statutes or case law for one area of family law, Barbadian for another, Grenadian for another, St. Lucian for another, Jamaican for another. Do you understand? So you'll always be looking at the laws of different countries. And what we tend to do is pick laws that illustrate things. So if there's a particular way of doing something in St. Lucia, we will teach that as a different concept. And you can see what that will do to your minds. It will stretch you. It will make you see outside the box. You won't be rooted to one legal system, but you will understand the legal systems of the region. Okay, and we also offer in level 3 a broad range of specialized courses. And we try to teach those primarily with full-time academic staff so that they are courses offered by those who are writing and publishing in the area as well. Distinctive regional legal education, not only do we teach the laws of the region, but we teach the laws of the region to people of the region. Okay, and so your classmates come from most of the Commonwealth Caribbean countries, and you see the list there. And we have exchange relationships with over 100 universities worldwide. Right now we're working on a double degree program with a Canadian university, so you could be called in Canada and called in the Caribbean in 4 years instead of 3. So we're working on that. We're working on a double LLM program with a German university which would be quite exciting, where you would do basically two LLMs in a single year. And we also have relationships with many universities around the world. All right, so how many of you are from these countries? Someone shout out a country name, please.
Antigua.
They're good. Yes. Barbados. Yeah. St. Vincent, good. Jamaica, good. Yes, good. That's it? Come on. Trinidad, good. Okay, well, we've had a couple of shout outs again for Trinidad. All right, well, welcome all of you. And one of the courses that I teach, Caribbean Integration Law, is really fun because those different nationalities will come to play in the very beginning of my course when we talk about the West Indies Federation and why it failed. And I am always delighted to see that national pride rises strong into the fore in that class. And so immediately the Trinidadians blame the Jamaicans, and the Barbadians blame the Trinidadians, and the OECS blame the Barbadians, and so everyone blames everyone else. And so it's very exciting to see that play out. All right, our academic staff, as you can see, we have academic staff who are national, regional, international, and highly qualified. And we have both academics who have come from school, and then those who have been practicing for many, many years. And so that is a delightful mix, and we hope that you will enjoy our staff. So these are who we are. So you can see these pretty pictures. So myself, there's all the qualifications. Deputy Dean James, qualifications. Deputy Dean Cumberbatch, who is not here with us this morning, who you will meet. His portfolio is postgraduate and research. But both Deputy Deans and I can be sought for any questions. So if you have any issues or any questions, all three of us will be happy to answer them. Professor Kaczorowska you've seen, Dr. Ostruk, Ms. Leslie Walcott, Ms. Tanisha Brown, and Ms. Nicole Clark Foster. She's on leave this semester, so you won't see her this semester, but you'll see her next semester. Ms. Alana Lancaster, Dr. Janelle Matthews, Dr. Ronnie Yearwood, and Mr. Rashad Brathwaite, who you will see around the faculty, and he teaches in our faculty as well. So that's who we are. And by the way, I'm going to put this PowerPoint on the faculty's website, so I'll actually be going through quite a bit of information, but you can review this later. Okay, so for those of you that like taking notes, please go ahead and take notes. But for those of you that don't, I will post it. I promise to post it hopefully today on the website. All right, so these are the programs we offer, undergraduate programs. The normal one is the traditional full-time 3-year LLB. And how many of you are in that? Okay, vast majority. Okay, this is the traditional program. This is the program that allows you to be exposed to law, the subjects of law, over a period of 3 years, which is the norm in most academic institutions. The course is taken in first and second year are compulsory. So first year, the only choice you get is what time your tutorial will be and maybe who's teaching it, but otherwise you are stuck with those courses, and second year as well. And the reason we do that is that, remember the Faculty of Law, when it was founded, we were envisaging legal education for the region. And so the founders of the Faculty of Law were thinking, what menu of courses are absolutely essential to not only a good practicing attorney, but also to someone who's going to go on and be a leader in the region. Okay? And we conceptualized those, and we said those are the courses you must take in levels 1 and 2. Level 3, your third year courses are optional, so you can take whatever you want. But I would encourage you to take a wide range of courses. I know some of you will come in and say, I want to be a corporate commercial lawyer. How could you possibly know what you want to be at this stage when you know very little about law? So I would encourage you to take a wide range of things. If you want to specialize, sure, go ahead and do so. But I would encourage specialization at the postgraduate level, at the master's level, okay, or the doctoral level. But for us, you should be getting exposure to a wide range of areas so that when a real person walks in your office with a real case, you know what it's about, and you can give proper advice. And remember, that's the ultimate test, isn't it? It's not our exams. It's when the client comes to your office and says, help, 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 tons of facts, which don't make any sense, just gushes them out at you. And then you have to analyze those facts and put them into the little pigeonholes of law and say, this is actually a case about nuisance or breach of contract or whatever. And if you don't know what contract is, which if you don't know that after us, you shouldn't be a lawyer, then you're going to fail in your legal advice. All right, so third year course is optional. Direct entry is a specialized program in order to be admitted to this, you have to be specially admitted into the direct entry program. And this is a 2-year accelerated program. And you must have completed all 3 foundation courses or be exempted from them and have a very high previous degree, high standing previous degree. And the first year direct entry courses are compulsory, second year combines compulsory and optional courses, but you take, it's almost the full law degree in 2 years. So you're taking, instead of 5 courses a semester, you're taking 6 in your first year and then 7 in your second year. So if you're in the direct entry program, I urge you to go into the law library now because you're going to be spending most of your year in the law library. So you might as well get acquainted with it and find a nice seat because that's where you'll be. And anyone who has been admitted to the direct entry program and is a little bit worried about it because it's a very high pressure program, we'd be happy to transfer you into the normal full-time program. And the reason people take the direct entry program is just financial. It's the cost. They want to spend 2 years of tuition rather than 3. But if you're able to do 3, I strongly encourage you to enter the regular program. Now the part-time program is a 5-year program, and you take 3 courses a semester rather than 5. Now, we ran this program as an evening program, but that meant we had to have 2 sets of teaching staff, one for the daytime and one for the evening. And it became very difficult, and the number of students we have to admit to make that feasible was very high, and we didn't have that continuous enrollment or continuous admission. So we're not offering it as an evening program anymore. We still have some part-time students in the faculty, and they've been grandfathered in, and they will be completing their program in the daytime as they can in the years ahead. Now, we are allowing persons to register in the part-time program. You have to seek permission, but that would be for people who have full-time jobs, but you would have to take courses in the daytime. Okay, so, but if you know that you have a full-time job and you can't do full-time course load at the same time, you can seek permission from me, but you'll have to still register in daytime courses. Okay. These are your courses for first year. So you can see the first, on the left column, I don't know if you can see it, it looks kind of blurred. On the left column, you have Law and Legal Systems, Criminal Law 1, Legal Methods, Research and Writing, and then the 3 foundation courses. And as I said, I'll explain a little bit about that, but also the foundation courses are compulsory. We ask that you take them right away and get them over with, and you can take Language Argument, Caribbean Civilization, Science, Medicine, Technology, and you'll see in bold, or a foreign language course. The Board of Undergraduate Studies has given the faculty, each faculty, permission to decide which course could be replaced by a foreign language course. In the Faculty of Law, although we're not against Science, Medicine, Technology, we felt that as far as lawyers, that was the one course that could be dispensed with. And so what we have allowed you to do is take a foreign language course. So those of you that want to speak Chinese, this is your chance. You can enroll in a level 1 Chinese course instead of Science, Medicine, Technology. Unfortunately, I don't speak Chinese, I speak Japanese. Nihongo wakarimasu ka? All right, but so you could take this, and if you structured it properly, you could take, say, a Chinese course in the first year, and then maybe in the summer of second year, take a level 2 Chinese course, and then in the third year, you will have optional courses that you can take outside the Faculty of Law, and you could take a level 3 Chinese course. So you would be hot stuff by the end of your 3 years and speaking Chinese very well. All right, second semester, you'll see the courses there. Legal Methods is an important course, so we teach it really the whole year long. Now for direct entry, as you see, the foundation courses are gone, and you have all the same level 1 courses, but you also have to take 3 level 2 courses. And level 2 courses assume knowledge of level 1, and so you really have to up the speed to be successful in those courses. And then semester 2, the same thing. You have mostly level 1 courses with 1 level 2 course. And you can stop me at any time if you have questions about any of this. All right, so there's the course substitution, Science, Medicine, Technology for a language course. Now exemptions, if you feel that you want to get out of these foundation courses as a normal 3-year student, we are happy to receive applications for such. But generally speaking, exemptions are governed by the faculty concerned. And the automatic exemptions that we are entitled to give here at the Faculty of Law are if you took the course at UE previously. So if you took Caribbean Civilization in another degree, How many of you are crossing over from another faculty? How many of you have done 1 year at another faculty and are now entering law? Okay, they think they know everything, so they haven't come here this morning, but they will be surprised. All right, well anyway, those students, if you've done Caribbean Civilization, say, for example, you don't have to do it again once you enter the Faculty of Law. So we'll give you an exemption with credit for that. And then you must have done, so we have a 5-year course rule. So if you did law courses in another faculty, because we allow non-law students to take our courses, then what we do is we will automatically credit you with those law courses, or at least give you, recognize those law courses and not require you to complete them if you've done so within 5 years. If you did a course 15 years ago, we will have to assess whether the legal knowledge is still up to date and determine whether you have to take it again. Now, if you have a previous degree, for example, a history degree with history of the Caribbean, then we will give you an exemption for Caribbean civilization. If you did a history degree on French history, then probably not. Okay, if you've done a science degree, a broad-based science degree, and the Faculty of Science and Technology has said that you must have done a course a degree that had courses in most of the science fields. So you can't just have done chemistry. You must have done chemistry, biology, physics, etc. You must have done the range of things. Then we can exempt you from that. Language argument, really if you've done an English literature degree, then you could be exempted from language argument. And the faculty considers language argument probably as the most important course, because as lawyers we have to do two things: speak, communicate effectively, and write effectively. And if you can't do those two things, then you're not going to be as successful as you could be as a lawyer. All right, exemptions not granted for law courses taken at other institutions. So if you've done a degree at another institution, say University of Toronto, Harvard, Oxford, whatever, they're not West Indian law courses, and we can't give you an exemption. And unfortunately, that applies also in the region. So if you've taken UTech courses, etc., we can't give you an exemption. Okay, now, all right, I'm explaining this one because we had some students who sort of saw a fast way to get through the Faculty of Law. If you're in another faculty and you've taken law courses, you don't have to repeat the law courses when you come into the Faculty of Law full time. So if you've taken torts, you don't have to take torts again, but you are required to take, and I've highlighted this in red, in addition to all of the Part 1 and Part 2 courses, you must compete in order to complete a minimum of 2 years' work of 60 credits before being awarded the LLB degree. Okay? So a normal student in the Faculty of Law would take 93 credits of courses. Now, what if you've taken 60 credits of courses in another faculty, law courses? Well, you still have to complete 60 credits of courses when you enter the Faculty of Law. All right? So you got 2 years. So you have to spend 2 years with us regardless of what you've completed before you came to the Faculty of Law. Everyone clear on that? All right, one student took most of the law degree in social sciences, came here and said, well, I've completed my 5 courses, give me the degree. And he has been writing to everyone in the universe about it, but this is the regulation. You will learn that the regulations bind us and they must be applied. So he has 2 years with us. Okay. Now these are the optional courses this semester. So as you see, we have a wide range of courses, and each semester we offer different courses. So as a result of this, in your 3rd year, you can be exposed to a range of law, everything from employment law, company law, trust, family law, gender in the law, international mooting, independent research paper, Caribbean securities regulation, that's stock exchanges, intellectual property, and alternative dispute resolution. So a good range of level 3 courses. Obviously, you don't need to concern yourselves with that this year, but in a couple years, then the courses will be available to you. All right, out of faculty courses, again, this is thinking far ahead, because this may be, for the better of you, the students who have no challenges in the Faculty of Law, this may be the only time you see me, aside from walking back and forth in and out of the faculty. So you will never come and visit the dean, you will never need to. So this is why I'm doing all this at the very beginning at your entry into the faculty. For those that have challenges, however, you'll see me a lot and we'll get to know each other quite well. All right, so in your final year, you're allowed to take up to 2 courses in another faculty. So if you've always dreamed of taking a psychology course, then that's your chance. It has to be a level 3 course. And you have to fill out a form, which is on the faculty's website. And the form is just for us to evaluate the course and make sure that it fits with the faculty standards. So as long as it has some real content and substance, then I will approve it. And I have approved some quite exciting and strange courses, and so that's fine. But if it's interpretive mime dancing, no. All right? So, and you can take it during semester 1 or 2 of third year. And it is possible, and we use this as a kind of safeguard, if you're missing one level 3 course, so you failed a course in third year, we may allow you to write a level 3 out of faculty course in the summer so that you can finish on time. Because we want to ensure 2 things: that you complete your degree properly, so you get sufficient grades, obtain a good GPA, but also that you complete it in a timely manner. We want to see you in and out of here in 3 years. So that's our goal too. Okay, student exchanges. In your first semester of third year, you can go on an exchange. Our students have been very active in this area. Many of them have gone to Canadian universities, Queen's University, University of Calgary, University of Toronto. Recently, students have started going to UK universities, Kingston University in London, and other universities. And we're hoping to conclude an agreement with a Dutch university, University of Tilburg in the Netherlands. So there are exciting possibilities for you. Start saving today, and then you can travel and see the world. Okay, the international office is the one to contact about that. You will fill out the form. As long as you have the right grade status, grade point average, you are eligible. We also have something called the UWI Washburn Summer Law Program. And in the summer, it says we may, and I highlight that word because last summer we were not able to do so, but we may have a Washburn Summer Law Program. And this would be in your after your third year or after your second year. And what we do is offer comparative law courses. And these are short, 3-week intensive courses, and they are inherently comparative. Because, so Westman James was involved in a course called Comparative Constitutional Law, and he taught the Commonwealth Caribbean constitutional law cases, and by his side was a Washburn lecturer who taught American constitutional law cases. And the students are half Caribbean, half American, or maybe 2/3 Caribbean, 1/3 American. And so it's very active, very dynamic. And I sat in on that class, and it was quite exciting because you could see the different legal views clashing. And Westman was very firm in saying that the West Indian approach was right. And I was very proud of that, of course. And so his American colleague was saying, no, this is how we do it in the US. And Westman was like, no, you guys got it all wrong. This is how we do it in the Caribbean. And so it was quite fun. So I encourage you to look at those courses in your third year. All right, tips for success. Now, you'll get a lot of advice from second and third year students. Be cautious about advice, and we will try. I encourage the Law Society to pair you up with a second or third year student. And so if the Law Society is able to mobilize that, that's a student law governance body, then you may be formally assigned someone who will be, in a sense, a mentor to you. And that person will be very useful if they have good notes for your courses that you're taking this semester. You can look at those notes, and that will help you along. But also for advice, especially about selection of, say, third-year courses and things like that. But if they say, this is the way to do it, this lecturer always has this question on the exam, don't study anything else, no, don't listen to that advice unless you want to see a very negative result on your grade. There is no easy route to success. And what I do is encourage you, especially in level 1, in first year, the one thing we don't formally teach you, are you ready? The one thing we don't formally teach you is how to think like a lawyer. And that's the whole point of 3 years with us. You must come out of this thinking like a lawyer. So how do you learn how to think like a lawyer? Reading cases. Reading cases. In cases, you will see legal argument by both sides and a judgment by a judge. And in reading that analysis and seeing how they deal with a complex factual matrix and boiling it, bringing it all together, and then applying the law to resolve the problem, that's how a lawyer thinks. We get a lot of facts, we sort out the relevant and irrelevant ones, and we put them together, we apply the rule, and we resolve the problem. So the only way to think like a lawyer, or learn how to think like a lawyer, is to read cases. Not the condensed books that have summaries of cases, but read the actual judgments, okay? And that's how you'll learn to do it. And I recommend that you read as many cases as you can in first year, and just read as many as you can. And then you will start getting it. And there will be a moment when your friends say, you've changed. You're clear, your thinking is much more rational, much more precise. And that will be the moment that you start to think like a lawyer. All right, memorization. I know some of you got here by memorizing, and congratulations. You can throw most of that aside. Memorization is not the answer. Our assessments will not say, what is this date? What is this place? What is this person's name? Our questions will say, here is a complex set of facts, apply the rules. And the complex set of facts will not be the same as something you've done in your class. So memorization will not help you through that. Okay? So what should you do? Secure the textbooks and readings in advance. I mean, those of you who can afford the textbooks, please go to the bookstore, secure those right now, or order them on Amazon or whatever you're going to do. And start getting everything ready now before your classes start. You're also going to have to relearn how to read. And this is a little strange. But what I'm trying to indicate here is that you read with a purpose. How many of you did English literature courses? Okay, good. My first degree was English literature and Japanese studies, as you could tell from the Japanese. All right, and when I read stuff for the joy of it. I mean, you're analyzing meter and all sorts of things, tropes, et cetera, in the writing. But it's for the joy of it. Every word can have meaning. It's important. For law, what you're reading is for a purpose. So if you're reading a long case and it's about some aspect of negligence, there are going to be lots of facts in there. And you should read through them quickly, get an idea for them, and then slow down. As soon as you see the part that says negligence, you slow down and read that really carefully. And this is Professor Kaczorowska-Island and I read a lot of international law cases. The cases you will be reading, in our textbooks, they condense them. So a 30-page case will be maybe in 5 pages in your textbook. International law cases tend to range from about 100 to 300 pages long. Okay? And when you're doing your advice for your attorney general, who calls you at 10 o'clock at night and says, I need an opinion first thing tomorrow morning, you're going to have to read a bunch of these cases. So how many of you can read 1,500 pages of cases overnight and still get an hour's sleep or whatever, right? It's pretty hard. So what you have to do is intentionally read through it with a purpose. Okay, what else should you do? Read before each class. Now, some of you in your previous education will have gone into class like clean slates. You will say, I'll read later. The teacher's going to tell me what's important, so let me just take notes in class. All right? Now, how many of you understand this? Issho ni tennis wo shimasen ka? Well, if I spoke Greek to you, you would get just as much from it. If you've never been exposed to something, you're not going to understand it, are you? So what are your notes going to be like? Everyone write, Issho ni tennis wo shimasen ka? That's what your notes will be like. So if you read in advance, and they've done learning theory on this, if you have a foundation, then what you add to it sticks. Okay? So if you've been exposed to a little bit of Japanese and you know that the word ishoni means together, then you'll go, he said together. And if you know that tenisuo means tennis, then you're saying, okay, he said together something about tennis. And you're getting it, and you're building upon it. Okay, I said, would it not be possible for us to play tennis together? And that's your first insight in Japanese. What's the answer to that one? Would it not be possible for us to play tennis together? Yes or no? If you say yes, we can't play tennis. It's a negative. Okay, so Japanese society. Anyway, enough Japanese. So read in advance before each class. And if you read in advance, then in class, instead of being lost, as you were right then, you will say, I get it. And your reading will start clicking. You will see things making sense, coming together. And, are you ready? The lecturer will be making these fine points that would have been so far above your head if you hadn't read it. But now you're getting it because you've read it. You have the foundation. You're going, I see these connections. And you'll be getting that before the hour before your exam, which is when most people start making those connections. All right, so fully prepare in advance for your tutorials. Tutorials are a chance to engage. I strongly encourage all of you to actively engage in tutorials. So that means do the tutorial, maybe in point form, do the tutorial question, and be ready to present. And especially if you see something going differently in the tutorial from what you prepared, make sure you ask. this was my answer. Why is my answer not the answer that we're doing in the tutorial? Because this is your chance to get it right in a non-hostile and non-graded situation. All right, attend tutorials, participate in them, visit your teachers for academic advice. All of your teachers will have office hours. So if you're sitting in on a class, say Westman's class, and you didn't get a topic, go to him right after the class or right in the office hours and say, I didn't understand this. This is the way I saw it. And a quick tip, if you approach a lecturer and say, I don't understand anything, they're not really going to be able to help you. But if you say, I didn't understand this case, then they'll be able to help you. Because if you say, I didn't understand anything, then we don't know where to start. Okay? So if you say, I didn't understand this case, this is the way I saw it going, but when you explained it, it went this other way. So visit your lecturers in office hours, revise for exams. We have past exams in the law library, and so you can actually practice them. I encourage you to practice them in a timed scenario. So try a question that you've already covered in class. So you say, this is an area I already know. So put the watch on, give yourself an hour, see what you can do in an hour, and then practice that. And then complete all of your, sorry?
They're on the Law Library's website as well.
Thank you. And there Ms. Robinson has indicated they're on the Law Library website as well. Okay, and some of your course directors will post them on the course pages as well. Complete your coursework on time. You'll be assessed by multiple assessment. This is unique about the Faculty of Law Cave Hill. We have moved primarily to multiple assessment. You'll see some of the other faculties, say Mona and St. Augustine, assessed primarily by 100% final exam. I had a colleague on a committee that I sit on saying that 100% exam is not a valid form of assessment. She said it very strongly. And the reason for that is that you could have a bad day. So all of that work that you've done for the course may not come out properly on the final exam. And stress, I mean, we all know that exams are stress, right? Even I'm talking about exams, you're getting stressed, all right? But in coursework, you can do things at your speed, you plan for them, and you can get good grades. And what we have seen is that students tend to perform better when you assess them multiple times, and you can track them. So if you see a problem in the first assessment, you can visit your lecturer, or your lecturer will call you in to visit him or her, and then you can go over it, and then you can correct. You can correct early on. Whereas if you have 100% final exam, then it's hard to correct at that point. Okay, and treat these coursework assignments really as really serious matters, because every grade you get in that builds for your final grade. So you'll have less pressure for your exam because you'll have already got a bunch of A's before the exam. You understand? So it's really important. Okay, faculty communications. I've already had some breaches of this rule. Use your My Cave Hill account. Use your UE email account. This is really important because it gives us your proper name, or the name our system knows. It also doesn't go into my junk mail email box. So if I don't answer you because your message went into junk mail, well, that's your fault, not my fault. And so we want your first name, last name, and student ID number. So if you write any formal correspondence with us in the faculty, give us that information, and we can then pull up your transcript and look it up and see how you're doing and help you, okay? And as I say clearly here in blue, faculty members will not be required to respond to emails sent from other accounts in which do not contain your name and student ID number. And this becomes very important, okay? So we will literally, we have the ability not to respond. And we do this for a very serious reason, which is that having this information enables us to help you better. And so if you send me an email from nubianprincess@hotmail.com, that will stay in my junk mail folder and I will not respond. All right? That was an email address. If your UE email account is inaccessible, just pass in a handwritten note or ask to meet with us, and meet with us in person, okay? And if you're responding to the faculty, use all the forms posted on the website and pay attention to deadlines. Deadlines are important in the Faculty of Law as they are in real life. Paperless teaching. What is this strange thing? Well, for several years, we have not handed out paper or course materials to students. This was initially done as a response to budgetary concerns. As you will be aware, the economy is not great, and all institutions, including UE, have to save money when we can. But what it has done is really empowered students, because what we do now is we put all of the stuff we would have handed out on a course website, a Moodle web page. And that means it's available to you 24/7. You can never, ever lose a handout again, because it's there for you to access anytime you want. And, are you ready? The handouts are primarily in letter text handouts so that you can cut and paste words. So if you're writing an essay, you can capture the case name and just cut and paste it into your essay. And so it saves you a lot of time. If you want to look for a case, you can do a search feature on it. You don't have to go through a 30-page handout very carefully. You can just search the case and find out where it is. So it gives you a real ability to access and utilize the material. Paper copies are available on reserve in the law library. What we've done is given the law library access to every course website. So if they don't have it on reserve, you can ask them, and what they will do is they can print it for you. Okay, so for those of you that really don't like reading stuff on screens, you can have printed material to read. But we discourage that. It's a waste of paper, and so we would rather you get used to reading stuff on screens or on your cell phones. Most of you guys have smartphones. All right, 24/7 access, never lose anything again. Okay, so what do you do if you're in trouble? Now, again, for some of you, I won't see you again for a while. For some of you, I will see you very soon. But for those of you I won't see again, you may have trouble. Things may get challenging. You may not do very well in a course. You may have relationship issues. You may have family issues. You may be homesick, etc. The key thing is, these are the things that I have learned over the years of being a lecturer here at the faculty and dean, is that it's important for us to keep in touch with our family, to be grounded with your family. Let your family know. Even if your mother or father you think might be disappointed, it's better for them to be a little disappointed at the beginning and help you overcome something than it is for you to blunder along and then fail out, and then for them to be disappointed and you have nothing to do about it. Okay, so consult your academic advisor, your assigned one, and if that person can't help, you can also visit the faculty's administrative assistant, Ms. Karen Primus, who knows most of our rules and regulations. Student services, we have a health clinic that's free. You have two deputy deans, and Mr. Westman James is in charge of the undergraduate program, and he's very available. And then book an appointment with the dean after you've met with one of the deputy deans. And the only reason I put that is not that I don't want to see you, but if it can be resolved at the deputy dean level, then it should be. And don't leave things until they get out of hand. Okay? It's better to address something. It's like a leaky faucet. Better to get it when it first starts dripping before it bursts. All right? Now, many of you won't fail a course, but you should still listen to this. So most of you will think, I will never fail a course. But sometimes we do fail courses. And these are the tips that I would give you here. If you fell ill, say you were sick while you were studying, or you were actually sick in the examination, go immediately after the exam to the campus chief medical officer. You may want to go to your private doctor later, but go immediately to the campus chief medical officer. She is the only one who is authorized to write a medical note on your behalf, which will excuse you from your failure or your failure in an exam. Okay? So the medical removes the penalty from a failure. And we have something which I'll explain in a moment called the grade point average system, and every failure pulls you down. Okay? So you want to remove it if you can. Now, if you fail a level 1 or 2 course, you'll be required to retake the course. These are compulsory courses, and we want to make sure that you understand them properly because they're essential for your further courses and for your career. So what that would mean is if you failed, say, a level 1 course this semester, you would take it again first semester of your second year. And we do have the ability to register you in more than 5 courses, so you could take your full second semester, full second year course load with an additional level 1 course, what we call a trailing course. Now, and that's what I said in the final paragraph here. Okay, but we would look at your academic record. If you were barely passing, we would say to you, hold off on some of your level 2 courses and trail those in the third year and only take 5 courses. But we look at each on a case-by-case basis. So what happens if you're missing some courses at the end of your degree? Remember, you have to take 93 credits of courses, or roughly 30 or 31 courses over your 3-year period. What if you've got 30 and you just need 1 level 3 course? Now, we do have something called supplemental exams. Supplemental exams, and I will actually give you a long talk on supplemental exams because we've had a very bad experience with them. Very bad experience with the grade point average system. Because what happens is if you fail a course, say you fail a level 3 course in the first semester of your 3rd year, you fail it. Are you going to be reviewing those notes in your 2nd semester? No, you're going to be studying your other courses. And then in the summer, when the supplemental exam is sat, you get no additional tuition. So a student who didn't do it properly in the 1st semester starts cramming from those inadequate notes in the middle of the summer with no help. And what we've seen is, as you can expect, not optimal performance. But what we do allow is persons who have failed. Are you ready? We have 3 classes of failure here at UE. A 1st class failure, a 2nd class failure, and a 3rd class failure. Isn't that funny? So you can fail well or fail really badly. Okay. All right, now if you fail well, F1, that means you just missed it. All right, that means you had most of the information, but you didn't make a pass. Now, if you have an F1, we will allow you to sit up to 2 of your level 3 courses taken in that academic year as supplementals if you have F1s in those courses. And that's just to get you through. We figure you almost did it. You can be successful. We'll let you try it again. But you can also keep those out of faculty courses in reserve. And you could take those, as I've said, in the summer. Or you could take, if the Washburn program is running, you could take 2 Washburn law courses in the summer. So the faculty has these mechanisms to get you through on time. All right, what is this strange GPA? So there are 2 things you need to do to pass the law degree. The first is you have to pass the courses, 93 credits of courses, and you all will do that. But you also have to achieve a degree GPA of 2.0 or above. Now 2.0, each mark is given a numerical value. So an A is worth 4.0 and a 2.0 is a C. If you achieve a 1.95, that is a failing average. And technically under the faculty's regulations and the university regulations, you are not eligible to graduate. So it is very important that you keep above a C average. Obviously, the better average, the better. So each grade is converted to numerical value. GPA is calculated, and what we evaluate is on your degree GPA. So for whatever reason, level 1 doesn't count. Level 1, as long as you pass the courses, that's good. If you fail some, it doesn't count towards your degree. But every course in level 2 and level 3 counts towards your degree. And these are the actual GPA scores. So an A plus is worth 4.3, A4, etc., down to a 0 for F3. And that's the marks that you're awarded. So if you get 95%, that's an A plus, and that's really exceptional, so congratulations. If you get 45%, unfortunately, you're a failure. You're a 1st class failure, or sorry, not you. Your script is a failure, not you. Your script is a failure. All right, and remember, we don't grade you. We grade what you give us. So this is never a reflection upon who you are as a person. All right, so what happens if your GPA drops below 2? Well, the faculty, many of you would see this as kind of negative, but it's not. It's your safety net. What the faculty does is if you don't perform well in one semester, we put you on something called warning. Now, warning is a formal status. It's on your transcript. And what it requires you then is to meet with an academic advisor or one of the deputy deans or dean. Actually, you would have to meet with one of the deputy deans or dean, and you would be counseled. You receive academic counseling. So what the warning does is allows us to intervene when you're first having trouble. And then we will talk you through whatever challenges you're having and can give you serious advice and can restructure your program. For example, some students who've had real problems have changed into a part-time course load. And that is possible. So we will do whatever we can to try to address your problem. And you can take a leave of absence. So for example, if you have some very serious family problem and you want to be home helping an ill relative, we are very sympathetic to that. And so take a leave of absence. I'd be happy to authorize one. Go home, spend some time with your family, sort it out, and then come back when you're ready. Okay? So the faculty, we care and we want to see you successful, and we will use everything we can to help you be successful. However, if you perform below 2 one semester and then perform below 2 another semester, 2 consecutive semesters in a row, then you're required to withdraw. That means literally you're out of the faculty of law. Now, many persons would see that as tremendously negative, but again, we see it as a kind of safety net. So what we do is we remove you from the faculty of law. for 1 academic year. And so you are left on your own for an academic year. You can do whatever you want during that time. Then you can reapply, and we can readmit you. And at that point, if your overall degree is very poor, we will readmit you under the academic forgiveness policy, which allows us to wipe your GPA slate clean. So you start over again as a second-year law student, basically. Okay, so that allows you to get a second chance. And it's a real second chance. And life doesn't give you many of these. So if you ever are in that position, you should understand that that is a real second chance. Hopefully, none of you will be in that position. But if your degree GPA is below 2, but you passed every course, as I've said, under the regulations, that's it. You don't get the degree. And I have had to speak with a student overseas who was in that situation and apologize, but that was it for him. You can't retake any courses in the Faculty of Law. You can't redo a Faculty of Law degree with UWI. You would have to go somewhere else and take a Faculty of Law degree with another university. Now, this is very rare and rarely happens now, but at least I thought I should alert you to it. Now, if you fail a course 4 times, then you're required to withdraw. And that's a rule particular or peculiar to this faculty. So count the failures if you start failing a course more than once, and realize that if you hit the magic number 4, so we give you 4 strikes, not 3 strikes, 4 strikes, then you're out. All right, so grade descriptors. Again, this will be posted online, and you can find this elsewhere. But this sort of tells you, at UWI, we tell you what you need to get the different grades. For a B+, you need to do the things in the grade descriptor. And that helps you distinguish what kinds of analysis are important to get the different types of grades. All right, so let me, again, and I'm sorry to do this at the beginning of the year, but it's very important for you to sort of see the consequences of things. What happens if you get a failure? And this is just mathematics, okay? Grades are averaged. So this is a fictional second-year student, and you see all the second-year courses, 5 second-year courses. And if they get a C, then the term grade point average is above 2, 2.26. But look, the same grades, except one F3, which is worth 0 points. And the term average falls to 1.86. So if you get one failure, it can pull your whole semester down to a failing and therefore a warning status. So it's very important to avoid any failures. And on this slide, what I've said, well, how do you get above 2? I mean, there's this magical number 2 average. What would you need to correct it? So if you get an F1, you get 1.7 points. What grade would you need to cancel out that F1 and to get a 2 or C average? And this slide shows you. So to correct an F1, you have to get a C+. To correct an F2, you need a B-. To correct an F3, you need an A. So do you understand that? So if you fail something at the F3 level, in order for you to neutralize that so that your average is the minimum passing average C, you need an A. So it's very hard to correct an F3. The number of students who get an A after having failed something at F3 is very, very rare. Okay? So the question I put for you at the bottom, I think you can answer, is passing enough to maintain your degree GPA? No. A student who got a B the second time around after an F3 would still have a failing average. You understand? So failures are very serious. And again, this is why we have multiple assessment, because we give you the ability to try things and track your performance and correct if things are going wrong. All right, your rights. You will be lawyers, so you should know what your rights are. You have a right to be taught according to the course content described in the course outlines. Now, the course outlines we've been revising. We have 2 things on the website. One is called the Faculty Handbook, and this has some general guidance and lists the officers of the faculty, but also has your regulations. And I urge you to look at that and read through the regulations, because these are it's the governing document that will bind you during your 3 years with us. But we also have another thing called the course guide. And what that includes is all of the course outlines. So the contents of each course, the general structure of each course is in this course guide. And this year, for the first time, we are including all of the information in the official course outlines adopted by the various governing bodies of the university. And so this is our contract to you. If you take my course, Caribbean Integration Law, you should go to the course outline and look, and I should teach you in accordance with that. If there are 6 topics and I only teach 5, I have failed you. If I try to sneak in another form of assessment, you should say, no, Dr. Berry, look, the assessment is specified in the course outline. This is how you must assess us. I have the right to be assessed in this way. Okay? So it's important for you to know that. And if you see any problems, alert the lecturer to it first. And if the lecturer doesn't see the same problem that you do, alert a deputy dean or dean. All right, you also have the right to meet with members of academic staff during office hours. You have the right to be treated with respect by academic staff and administrative staff. You have the right to use our law library, complying with the regulations, and to receive the quality UE education described in our student charter. What are your duties? You have to learn the substantive content of your courses. This is not just a pass, but because this is a practical degree. The things you learn from us will help real people in the real world afterwards. You have the obligation to treat all UE staff and fellow students with respect, not engage in dishonest or unethical conduct such as plagiarism. And you should be aware that it is a requirement to be called to the bar in I think every jurisdiction in the world that you have a good character. Okay? And someone will have to swear or formally document your good character. And if you have engaged in any unethical conduct, this could hinder your being called to the bar. Okay, you also have to complete your course, have a duty to complete your course evaluations online. And these are very important. We'll talk to you about them before the end of the semester. But the course evaluations are your ability to have your say about the course. And you'll see that they're online forms and you just check the various boxes, etc. But they also have a space where you can write comments. And I must stress that these are absolutely anonymous. They are not managed by the faculty of law at all. They're managed by a separate unit in the university, and there is no way anyone could identify who wrote what comments. Okay, so this is your chance to give a full, frank, and fair appraisal of your academic staff. And we see it as very important because it allows us to shape our teaching. And I think if you talk to any member of academic staff, you will see that he or she has changed teaching as a result of course evaluations. I know I certainly have. The students would say certain things, and if I will read it, and I say, does this have truth? Does this have merit? And if it does, then I will attempt to change my teaching in response to that. Okay, so this is very serious, and I ask that you complete these evaluations at the end of the lecture, at the end of the course. All right, how to achieve the balance? Is this student achieving the balance? Not really, but that's what you should not do it in the law library. Exhibit A, do not do this in the law library. But law is demanding. Many of you will spend a great deal of time in our classrooms or in the law library reading and rereading stuff. This is important. You have to do it. But keep a balance. Keep a balance. So get involved in other activities. If you are athletic, get involved. There are great sports activities here on campus. Get involved in them. If you are social, you want to be involved in student governance, run for the Law Society, run for a guild position, participate in the moot competitions we have in the faculty. See the island. How many of you are not from Barbados? Okay, good. How many of you are from Barbados? Okay, everyone look at those hands. They might have a car. Okay, see the island. It's a beautiful country, and you should see it. And this is actually one of the great benefits of studying at the Faculty of Law, is that by the end of your degree, you will have friends in literally every or almost every Commonwealth Caribbean island. And that's a great thing. That's a great present we give you from the Faculty of Law. So if you're in St. Kitts, you just call your friend and you get a tour, or importantly as a lawyer, if you need a case from St. Kitts, you call your friend and that person will have access to that material. Okay, and then finally here, schedule and observe downtime. You should make time for yourself every week, okay? So make time for yourself. I had a friend who was in medical school when I did my undergraduate degree, and he said, Friday after 6 is my time. And medical students, like law students, have very difficult curriculum, very difficult study times, but he religiously, after 6 o'clock, would put down his books and just have fun. And so I urge you at some point, and we do have a slot, 2 to 4 o'clock on Friday afternoons, that we're not allowed to teach you anything, so you can have fun during those hours or more hours, all right? So thank you. That is my presentation. Thank you for attending. And I urge you to look at the faculty's regulations, just kind of skim through them so you see the structure of our degree program, and then look through the course guide, and that will actually give you a detailed guidance on the contents and methods of assessment of each course that you will be taking. Please note that the required and recommended readings may change. So in the course guide that we post in our handbook, and we specifically indicate this, we literally give you what was adopted, but it might have been adopted 5 years ago, and so there might be a new edition of the textbook, or the course director is free to choose a new textbook. So you should make sure that you have the correct textbook before you buy it at the bookstore.